And we're live.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. I'm live again from Alicia's Coffee, downtown Vincent, Alabama, where it is, I would like to say, a beautiful day. It's warm, but it's cloudy. We're about to get rain. But that's Alabama. But it is in the 70s.
Half a foot of snow.
I was going to say, Gail woke up to snow today. Adrian, how are things in Colorado?
It's going to be almost 70 today.
But you had snowy crap the other day too, though, didn't you?
It's coming again. We got 4 days worth coming.
Ew. I don't miss that crap at all, y'all. I hate it for y'all. Next winter, y'all just come down south and stay with me through the winter.
I'll mail you a box. You want a box?
No.
I'm sure it would be in great shape.
I want a box of hot dogs. I want a box of hot dogs from Michigan, but other than that,
I know which ones you want.
But other than that, yeah, I don't. No snow, definitely. Now, after I come up and visit, I may find that there's other things I want from Michigan. But right now, I can honestly, without a doubt, say the only thing I want from there that I know for sure is the hot dogs. Definitely no snow, none of that weather. Keep that crap up there. I whine on the little bit of winter that we have in Alabama. Like, I've never lived in the Midwest or Colorado through any winters in my life. I'm a big baby. I can't take it anymore. I just can't do it.
It makes everything hurt when you're old. I can tell you that part.
Absolutely. I mean, even down here it does. Like, I could tell when it's going to rain. I could tell, when the weather's going to be crap. I can tell. And being up there where it's changing cold, all no, thank you.
How are you?
No, I'm a big baby. So, welcome to the show, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. We apologize we weren't here last week. Shit happens and life happens, and we will say that it is the first weekend, first Friday of April. We won't be here. Adrian is going on vacation to see her grandbaby.
I'm not sure 7 grandbabies is a vacation, but we'll see.
Well, you won't be at home.
No.
We'll just change that. You won't be at home. You won't be at home. So we do want to bring an update on our next case. Gail, would you like to kick it off and tell us what's happening in the world of necks? It's disgusting.
Yeah. Well, it took forever to get an official autopsy. They did the preliminary autopsy pretty quick and just said that it wasn't from the beating. Took forever to get the official autopsy, and they are saying it was suicide, which would fall in line, but they're holding nobody responsible, which is really upsetting to me. She obviously had been having issues with these people for quite a while. And then to have nobody held responsible, not even a slap on the wrist. All I got to say is if it was a white child, if it was a binary child, would the results be the same? And that's my big question. Um,
Absolutely. I mean, if it were my child, I would be outraged, and I mean, I would just be, I would be, I don't know, I hate to should put threats out there and stuff, but something like that could definitely make a person go postal, you know. The bullying that is happening, you know, and I mean, I know it's always been there, but it's become more prevalent. It's like history repeating itself. And this is 2024, people. We need to wake up, accept responsibility, about bullying people. You can't just bully someone and they go off and commit suicide. And I mean, that's just disgusting. It's disgusting. At minimum, I hope that these people are, their guilt, eats them alive. Hey, Jen. Um, that's my friend. I told you I hadn't talked to you in a while, and we reconnected, and since she's joined us today, so welcome, welcome. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, this was, it's absolutely disgusting, and we'll remind everybody that what's very near and dear to our heart is the murdered, missing Indigenous women, girls, and two-spirited people, along with every other woman, child, girl, two-spirited person that's missing. But we want to focus on these cases and bring them to light and let people know that this is a very ignored population right here in the United States. The police don't even really look at it. It's just another Indian, and I hate to be derogatory like that, but that's the thought. We're just kind of into the whole bullying and the history repeating itself. And, we're in 2024. We need to do better. That's amazing. Let me show it. She just got a gift brought in for, let me see, can I hold it back far enough that y'all can see it?
Oh, how pretty.
I
aw.
know, isn't that awesome, y'all? The community here is, just wonderful. Of course, we love having a coffee shop here in Vincent. Y'all don't understand. I mean, y'all Google Vincent, Alabama. It's like this big. And we have a grocery store, a Dollar General, as we like to call it here, and a coffee shop. I mean, we really have to go outside of town to even get gas. But we now can get good coffee, and it's been voted, some of the best in Alabama. So,
Awesome. You keep
yeah,
that
it's
crap
pretty
up
cool.
there. You got me? You keep it.
Another
Yeah,
snowball.
yeah, no, yeah, y'all keep with them snow bombs up there. We don't want them.
No.
Mm, didn't want it either.
Right. So, Gail, while we're kind of on our murdered missing, do we have another case that's something a hot one that we need to be bringing to light right now, or do we're
I
just we're
have
today
not.
we're just disgusted about what's happening with Nex?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm heartbroken because they belong to three marginalized groups,
Right.
women of color and non-binary. And
Right.
so it
Julian,
just, to
Hey,
me, that's
Joanne.
that's really painful when society just doesn't even, basically because she fought back, that was enough. And
Right.
no, it's not. I used to tell my own children, if I ever caught you bullying, you were going to find out when you got home, because I was going to handle it. And they,
yep.
whether that was out of fear, they they didn't join the bullying groups.
Well, my girls, always fought for the underdog. So
Yeah.
you know, I could say a lot of things about my children. I mean, who can't?
Right.
Nobody's kids are perfect, but there were some things that I did right, and that's definitely, one of those. Both of my girls are very compassionate, and they're gonna fight for the underdog every time. So, and I'm sure you ladies the same way with your children,
Oh, yeah.
I
Yep.
think that, maybe the fate of empathic moms who
right?
Can I say?
right,
You teach your kids to have some empathy.
right, right. Because Lord, I guess that was let's bring it. Hey, Robin, it's like really tiny, so without my glasses, I have to. but
I know.
but if I wear my glasses, then I can't. I have a problem with my vision is in distance. But if it's really tiny, then I need the bifocals. So anyway, and so I guess we'll move from bullying to we've talked on previous shows about cult like behavior and things like that. So we did find this little interesting thing here. Adrian, were we able to that one about the like cult? Things you should recognize if you think someone might be in a cult, or the signs. Was that picture too small?
Let me see if I can pull it.
Amazing. I can pull it up on my iPad here too, where I can read it big. And because we're finding in today's society that right now in 2024 there seems to be a lot of cult like behavior happening. And I think I sent that in the blood and brooms, didn't I? Yeah. So of course we want Gail with the psychologist to throw in the armchair psychology on each one of these here, as we like to call it.
Oh, okay, you
Gail's
need to turn my
Gail's armchair. Yeah, yeah. Turn
got
on your armchair, Gail. So we've got the six top. I guess that we will say these are. I wish we would have the top 10 signs, but you can add in the other four, Gail here. So your top signs of a cult. Number one, the leader is always right. I mean, and if you look through history with, the guy in Waco and uh, the what's his fake, he's in prison now. I know his name and it just left my head. The one, the Church of the LDS, the Latter Day Saints guy. What's his name?
I
Jeff.
can't think of his name. Yeah.
Jeff's. Is
Yeah,
it?
yeah, Warren Jeffs. Warren Jeffs. Yeah. um, you know, and I mean, just on and on and on with these cult leaders. Charles Manson, which we all know he's one of my favorites to throw out there. Um, these cult leaders, you know, Gail, you want to elaborate a little bit more into the leader is always right, the
Well,
theory?
well, I mean, that's like the primary symptom of narcissism. And the head of cults are always narcissistic. Hitler, he's a good one
Well,
to
and
throw out there
Putin,
too.
we could, throw Putin and
Oh yeah,
Kim Young Junk Buck, as I like to call him.
yeah. But
Um,
they are never wrong, and they always have to be held in that godlike supreme position.
Right, which you got like number two on this list is criticism of the leader or questioning the leader is considered persecution. And we've heard that recently, and I'm just gonna leave that one alone.
Who insults God? I mean,
Right, right.
that, that
So, and then yeah, the number three is anything the leader does is justified, no matter how harmful it may be. So, those kind of, I mean, they all are clumped in together, but
yeah.
when people really start to recognize your neighbors, your friends, or what you go, wait a minute here, you know so we're just doing our part to try to help you recognize if someone you care about is in a cult. And I'm going to go finish reading these, and then we want to talk a little bit about deculting people. So, number four, the leader is the only source for the truth. Everybody else is lying. Red flags there. Followers must blindly be devoted to the leader and never question him. And number six, the members won't recognize they belong to a cult. So, all right, but bust out the armchair there on that one, Gail.
Well,
Yeah,
first, I'm going to apologize for the screaming because that's actually my cockatoo.
It's okay. We figured you're slaughtering somebody in the other room. It's all right.
Yeah. Um,
those those birds just let us know we're alive. It's okay.
yeah. I mean, Dexter's not really out there sawing people up. It's just the bird. um,
Darn.
I like the idea of Dexter being out there.
so I guess it all comes back to that same narcissistic, godlike need to be followed and to be obeyed and to be for everybody to drink the Kool-Aid, my favorite saying since that literally happened. Um, people have in cults have been known to do really bizarre things. There's a cult that all of the men castrated themselves. So the cult leader's the only dude that's having sex with anybody, which happens to be all these castrated men's wives, daughters. So I mean, yeah, that's some real all powerful stuff. And, I mean, if we all are really honest, we have moments where we would like to be godlike, but, most of us have normal thinking patterns and go, well, yeah, no. I mean, I'm not that great. So I'm just going to move on and do my daily stuff.
Yeah,
So,
no, I mean, there's a couple of things that, if I could be, y'all know where I'm at, so I have to, be careful because I do know there's, you know, people,
you mean if you were in charge,
fresh meat.
if you were in charge, you have a hit list already worked out. But
Right. Thank you for, I mean, and it's few and far between, and not necessarily, a death hit list. I'm not gonna lie, there potentially is one.
a
Um,
silent would be great.
right, because I think, the whole world would be a better place. But which because I'm gonna kind of flip us because this is kind of culty too.
Here we
You
go.
talk. What is this? Hang on, let me get my glasses on so I can read it.
Yeah, you want to do that.
Well, thank you for saying that and making me not have to. Um, that's of course not really what our show topic was about, but culty things can always lead us into other culty things. But so I guess we'll wrap that up a little bit with, is there any hope to decult? I mean, I know there is, Gail, but like if just the average person is watching and they recognize that, that they're possibly, in love with or next door to someone who they fear is in a current cult that is very large, that's very scary. I mean, let's just be real. This is scary. What is happening now? And I feel like, it's kind of our job to help people recognize the signs of a cult and how do you help that person that you love maybe step out of the cult a little bit? I mean, is there any hope?
Well, there's going to be a certain sector that you can't help because of you know, the cognitive dissonance we were talking about it the other day. If
Right, and
they
I get
want to
that. That's like
do something,
probably 80% of the white
oh,
population in Alabama.
yeah. So if they want to believe it and they have enough supporting pieces of information, I'm not going to call it data because it's not data, it's not factual. But if they have enough pieces of information that they want to keep believing, I think you're probably going to have a hard time. The best thing you can do is give them factual data, um, and stand back and hope that they can assimilate that. If they can get that uh, into their brain that's actually
Dear
possibly
me.
different than what they believe. Um, it is a problem.
I said this yesterday. I don't know. One of the two.
Hang on, I gotta get my glasses on. If it's more than a word, I can't focus on it. Well, I mean, that's a really good point there. Is it the Mark Joe shows?
That's just
Um, that so recently, I'm gonna plug. It's a Midas Touch Network. Is that what? Is
My
that what it is?
yeah.
Midas Touch the MTN. Um, I've discovered this like in the last week, 10 days, whatever. And I mean, these guys are freaking incredible. I think they are just absolutely incredible. What I like about them is they're bringing us actual court documents. I mean, we are seeing actual court documents, what judges are saying, what defendants are saying, what I mean, we are actually seeing these. This is not any kind of fake news. This is not, this is a group of, I think most of them are lawyers. I know the one, I forget his name, Ben. I really like him. I think he's kind of cute too.
They're all
um,
cute.
they really are. They're all just as cute as they can be. Um, he actually defended Kaepernick, for taking a kneel for being unpatriotic on the football field. I mean, do y'all remember that? That, we were banning professional football because this guy was taking a knee to the
yep.
national anthem, and we were
Yeah.
calling that unpatriotic. And we're calling the people that are, the January 6th insurrectionists. That's what they are. I am not going to sugarcoat it. I don't care if they were Democrats, Republicans, independents, men from Mars, whatever. They were fucking insurrectionists. They tried to overturn a free and fair election in this country. And there's all kinds of dog whistles out there being called, to these people, and it's a problem. And I'm fucking scared of this shit. I'm not even gonna lie. But again, I get on my rant there. Sorry, y'all. If y'all go check out this MTN on YouTube, if you don't believe, if you think that everything is a lie, that this person is a victim, go to MTN and check out these actual court documents. One show, they'll bring you up to date on whatever is happening in the courts all over the land today. Um, and I found, I did tag y'all on that little young guy, the little millennial. Um, have y'all watched any of him? Did I tag y'all on that?
Hmm.
He's a new joiner that on MTN. His shows, he goes out and like interviews these people and then points out the true facts. And it is, you want to say it's funny, but it's not funny because, when he stumps them, the one I watched the other day, he was asking people, just things about the Constitution. I mean, these are people born right here in America. Some of them cannot even sing the national anthem, but they're out here waving these "Make America Great Again" signs. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me. So,
Some of those interviews are perfect examples of the cognitive dissonance thing because they just can't process facts
well, the
because
thing about this little guy is he is actually, I mean, you've seen one guy that he went, and because the young guy kind of, because this guy man was a vet, and the young, I forget his name, but I did subscribe to him. Anyway, he called out this vet and said, "But do you realize this is the actual fact?" And you could see the wheels turn. He may have got one. He may have got one to go. Wait a minute. One may have came out of the dark and stepped into the light and see. So I appreciate what these guys are doing on MTN, and everybody needs to go follow them. And speaking of following, let me do our shameless plug. Please go to our Facebook page. the Bloodstains and Broomsticks Facebook page. Like it, follow it. Any kind of missing person we talk about, any kind of book, whatever, anything we talk about on the show, you're going to find all the links there on that page. So I guess we have what here? 30 minutes left, and we'll flip it to why we're here today. Let's talk. Well, I guess we'll start with color magic first. Let's keep it quick and easy and basic on color magic. So, um, Adrian, do you work with colors?
To a point. I am not that good yet. Not that educated yet.
Well, and see, that's a lot of people go there, but it's really color magic for me is like the easiest thing because when you think about red, what comes to your mind,
Either love or anger.
right? So you automatically kind of associate red with a fire kind of energy, you know, passion, anger, and Gail, I know now you with your Native American roots, there's red could be a whole different thing for you. What does red mean for you?
Well, it tends to be attached to warrior energy. Um, so the people that fight for the rights of the general population. Um, I kind of mix my magic, if that makes any sense, because it depends on what I'm working on.
Right,
Um,
because you're more eclectic.
well, and like I think I mentioned before on the podcast, I've been Native American since I was a wee lass, but now I've recognized the parallels between being Native and being a witch, and there's a lot. There's a lot. Um, so warriors often painted with red. Um, it was, it's the color of blood, and obviously they're calling on all of the energy of that. It is associated with fire. I will say that.
Right, and of course you went there with the blood. Of course it could be used in let's say you were a woman that was trying to become more fertile or something. You could use red. In your spell, prayer, whatever you want to call it. Um, and like with the, MMIWG2, if you notice in our opening, it's got the woman with the red hand plant. So I imagine because it's the indigenous people, it's because the warrior, they're the
It
people out there fighting to bring this out in the open. So they're
and
getting, we can kind of weave our parallels all over the place
they
here.
picked because women, um, culturally, they're also believed to be warriors just because of birthing and giving blood for the people. Um,
Right,
so there's that parallel between the fighter warriors and then the at-home warriors kind of thing. But
right,
yeah, yeah. And the
right,
black is a spirit color, so that's why they put the red against the black background.
right. So, and if you are looking, and I know Adrian's got a couple of visuals here to show, we'll pop those up in a minute after we kind of go through our little things here. But for me, and which is, we're going to talk about quarter calling here too, which is, um, kind of why I'm thought it would be good to talk about both of them, together, because for me, when I am I always calling quarters? Absolutely not. And when we get up more deeper into quarter calling, but for me, if I'm building that spiritual realm around me, red for me, I'm going to put it my south point because that's fire, you know. Um, so that's what red and quarter calling. I'm just trying to round these two together since we're talking about these two together. So if I were to say, which this throws a lot of people off, and this is just my tradition, what I have been taught, and it's different for everybody. What color represents to you is what color represents to you. But yellow, what does that represent? Adrian, I'll start with you because you're in the top of the corner up here. If you think about yellow, in the element or magical world, what does yellow say to you?
To me, yellow is fire.
I can see that. I can see that. And Gail, what about you? What is yellow? Tell us in native, in your Native American, and then what does it represent to you in your, eclectic
Um,
work?
so yellow for native way is enlightenment or the beginning place, which is yellow is associated with the place that the creator lives. Um, and I still attach it to enlightenment, I think, in all of my work. So I mean, enlightenment means so many things, but you know, mm, in the native way, it's the beginning of prayer. That's the direction where you start. You're asking for enlightenment. And so, um, yeah, that's why it's attached to me. I'm going to show you. Actually, Terry, you'll love this. This is a very old medicine wheel, so please forgive. But this is medicine wheel.
Oh,
Can you see?
wow.
Oh wow.
So red is in the south. Yellow is in the east.
Yeah, and see, yeah, for me, yellow is east air.
Mm,
It was difficult for me because it didn't. I don't know. I don't see air as yellow, so to speak. But I mean, I guess if you're gonna put a color to it, why not yellow?
yeah, I'm not sure of all of the reasons, and I will also say that every tribe, the directions aren't the same. And the only logical reason I can give you for that is that they live in different places. So they're, for instance, if you lived at the North Pole, yellow might be in the bottom because the
Right,
sun comes
right.
from the south, kind of thing. Yellow also being associated with the sun.
I'm trying to get Jennifer said that she was watching and then she got kicked out. She's like, I hope I didn't say anything. I'm like, well, I can't see the chat anyway, but
No, she didn't say anything.
Come back.
I'm sure she couldn't have. Um, as I'm
Do you want me to put that
typing over
medicine
here.
wheel up?
Yeah, put Gail's medicine wheel up, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And I'm gonna mute here so you don't hear all the commotion in the background.
Thank goodness the cockatoo became quiet.
She's saying the attachment is unavailable. Let me. That's weird.
She can go to things.
That's the link I sent her to is things. Let me try the spirit page.
Yeah.
Because that's weird. Um, so yeah, Gail, I'll have to pull that up here on my iPad where I can see it big here.
I can't get big either. I'm just going to say it's.
Here, let me do this and see if this will help.
Let's see.
Okay. I can talk to you about medicine wheel. Like it's yellow in, direction east, but it's just giving some of the attachments. So natives believe that there's four parts that complete a human being. And so it's spiritual, emotional, physical, and intellectual. Um, and it's giving you some of the attachments to it, although that's not all of them. I have a book that literally there's 100 at least attachments to each direction. And the fifth direction, as you can see, is still represented as the soul or the void in the center. So it's so parallel to what witches believe. I just found that they're literally the same in my head.
That is actually really interesting.
Right. And leave that up for just a minute. We're still trying to get Jen in. She was really interested in the colors. She said,
Okay.
I'm going to get her on YouTube link here. So yeah, y'all keep going. There's someone they're walking out the door now, so the background noise should die down in just a minute.
Let me see what this. Okay. So the left side, the black says physical hold with the body, earth element, the healer, and autumn.
So literally what it says, it's attached to your physical being, your physical body. It's attached to the earth element. It's attached to autumn as a season. And what were the other ones on there, Adrienne?
Body, earth element, the healer, and autumn.
Okay, so the healer would also be, attached to that direction. There's so many other things too, though. That is the direction of adulthood. So yellow is the babyhood, red is childhood, black is adulthood, and white is old age. So like that's what I meant when there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of things attached to each of those directions in the Native culture. You have to have balance of all of those things, though, and that's why they created the medicine wheel with equal directions and all of that.
Yeah, red, emotional, give the emotions, water, element, the teacher, and summer.
Okay, so emotional, which makes sense because we were attaching red to passion.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and I will say, in witch world, same thing. Red is attached to passion, your feeling, so it's very much fire.
And so I was just going to say, when we have ceremony, even when I do a pipe, I call all of these things in. So I call each of those directions in, each of those colors in, and all of the things that are attached to it. So depending on what I'm praying for, the last time I did a really big ceremony was for COVID to get gone. I was praying more in the direction of health and healing. Mm-hmm. And so I would pull the elements of each direction that had to do with health and healing.
Yeah, yellow shows spiritual, determined with the spirit, fire element, the visionary, and spring.
Okay. And it's also youth. And as I said, it's so that's Native belief is that the creator lives in the east.
Okay. And then the white shows intellectual, received with the mind, air element, the warrior, and winter.
And that also makes sense as it being the color for the age, the elders. That's the elders' color, white. That's, you acquire wisdom with age. You acquire knowledge of how to fight against something. And fighting doesn't always mean physical. So it also is intellectual. So how do you warrior against something? Mm-hmm. And winter, of course, winter. Being 70, I have had way too many people tell me I'm in my winter years.
Oh, jeez.
And I am not winter.
Right. And you could go into like the Game of Thrones. Anyone that's a Game of Thrones fan. If you look at the representation of that, I mean, the series starts with winter is coming. And they live in these long summers, long winters, um, and that is very much a representation for me anyway of how life works. Yeah, we have our childhood and our I guess if you look at it from which world, you've got the maiden, the mother, and the crone.
Right.
And so yeah, here's the parallels of all that. So like for in my craft, my way, for me, blue, is west water, you um, and are we really calling in, mermaids and nymphs, and maybe some people are, maybe that's truly what they envision. When I'm quarter calling, it's more about the energy that each one represents. Just like in the wheel, of the Native Americans, you bring balance of everything around you, to protect, to assist you, to yourself, to yourself most importantly, and whatever color, northwest, east, south, whatever all that represents to you, you bring balance to yourself. So I think there's a lot of Hollywood, that lumps into what they think that we're doing, when we're quarter calling or praying, um, in ritual and ceremony, depending on what path you walk, what it's called, But at the end of the day, it's all the same. It's all the same.
Yes. There we go.
I have to
And
say that, I think one of the biggest things that humanity forgets is everybody's on a path, but all the paths lead to the top of the same mountain. And we're all arguing about which path to walk on. It's like get to the top. Just get to the top. Don't worry about what.
right, if we all try to go down the same path, it's going to be awfully damn crowded.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, there's room on that mountain for everybody to get up to the top of it. Everybody's just got to go their own route,
Hmm.
whatever it may be. I'm not here to change anybody else's way of thinking, you know, and I've thought about this earlier, ladies. I'm going to give y'all a homework assignment. If we were to do a mission statement, for the show, like if we were introducing ourselves, to a potential guest or something, what would our mission statement, be of our show? Because I'd like to put that on, the show page, kind of what we represent. And I was thinking about what does that represent for me? And one of the biggest things for me, why I ever agreed to put my face out here and ever do a podcast, even to begin with, was to break down the myths, the Hollywood about someone who is spiritual, and isn't in the church. Um, because that's not the only road to salvation, in my opinion. And if you go back to the history of where all that came from, Gail, you put up a really good post the other day. Adrian, did you see that?
I'm sure I did.
The one that like it gave the year that this shit was created, and it's like, okay, now
Hmm.
there again with the cult mentality, you know. Um, Here it is in black and white, and I know Gail well enough to know she ain't putting up some shit that she ain't 100% checked the facts on, you know. So if it's
That's
on
your
her page,
ancestry nerd.
if it is on her page, and she's going to be kind of responsible to help make sure that that happens, on our show page too. That if we post something,
That's a lot
you
of
can
responsibility.
well, I mean, I fact check too. I try not to post, because I got busted one time on Facebook. I seen something that somebody was dead, and I shared it,
I've
and
done it.
and I was like, wait a minute. In fact, there was a show on things, and I'm not going to call them out, but like I'm in the chat arguing with her. Cheech is not dead. I mean, she's killing Cheech Man. He is not. I mean, she's arguing with me, telling me what day, and I'm like, and I went and checked myself just to make sure, that did he die and I didn't know about it. And I'm reading it black and white in front of me, legitimate resource. And I'm not saying that everything online is legitimate because it is not. Google is not always accurate. You know, what I have found that helps me if I am Googling, researching, if I can validate it with three other sources, then I'm going to say, okay, then this is probably factual. If I can't validate it with three sources, I'm going to Gale. So, anyway, back to my point being in missions. What I would like to break down is the myths that we are not sacrificing children.
I mean,
Although we
crossed
do
my
have a,
mind before, but no.
we do have a running joke about it because there was some, I don't know, it was back with the QAnon, was really hot and heavy, and they were talking about Democrats murdering babies. My husband had eating them, whatever, they're boiling them in New York, whatever that crazy story was. So me and my husband are talking about it, going to town one morning. He had a doctor's appointment or something, and there was a car seat on the side of the road. Well, didn't think nothing of it. And then, like 4 miles later, there's another one. And I look at Lydia, I'm like, that's really weird. These cars, city pops up. The damn Democrats. They're eating the babies. The other day, I was driving, seeing a car seat on the side of the road, and I was like, oh, there went another one. So now y'all will, y'all can live in that little sick, twisted place with me now too. When you see that disposed of car seat up, another Democrat ate a baby.
with
Oh gosh.
with ketchup. No.
Right? Just throw that bottle of ketchup on that baby and eat that
I
baby.
am that that goes through the grocery store though, and if your kid's running wild, I'll say, I'll be the one to go. Where's your mom?
I do that too.
If
Yeah.
you
I've
don't have
even
a mom, I'm just gonna put you in the basket and cook you up.
exactly. So, we just want to show the world that we're not really sacrificing animals. Never, never, never. I rescue animals. Um, Gail, you rescue animals. You rescue birds, right?
I
Um,
have had upward of 200 birds before. It's narrowing down because I'm getting too old for this stuff. But if somebody dropped off a bird, I probably would find it a cage.
well, that's it really was not my intention. I started Project 626 years ago with collecting because we had found this kitten, and then when we found it, it was kind of attached to this colony, and there was a black cat that was running around with its tail had been ripped off,
Oh my.
and it was just bloody. And of course, I couldn't sleep at night, because I'm this evil, horrible, wicked person, that wants to get this cat and slaughter it, right? I could not sleep at night thinking about this poor cat suffering. So that's kind of how my feral cat trap and rescue
Yeah.
started. So trap and spay, neuter, and release started. And
I
Now that I have moved out here, I was working on feral colonies away from my house. Now that I've moved out here, the feral colony finds me. So I think what the last time I talked to y'all, I had 10 cats. The other day I looked out and one of my cat, the girls as I call them, I have Face and Grace. And I thought, and Lara, which is feral spelled backwards, Lara. She was also known as Closet Kitty because she was the last one to go get fixed of that batch and lived in our closet for a while. The same closet I can get a signal in. The infamous, the infamous closet. So the other day I look out and Larif is the tortoise shell, the black and yellow splotches. I look out and I just wake up and I'm thinking, what the fuck? Somebody's done something. Who put Larif in bleach? And I get a little because it's the same shape and size, And I sit up on the bed and look a little closer. I've got another female cat. This one is a Siamese looking one, and guess what? She's pregnant.
You just need kittens.
No, no.
I mean, what, last spring we didn't have, so it was the spring before last, mama cat, with the girls, Lair of Grace and Face, and Black. He's the only boy of that litter. Um, I got all those kittens fixed. Didn't really have to deal with that last year. And now here we go again. But I'm slaughtered and sacrificing. But no,
Yeah.
what I'll really be doing is if anybody wants to donate to the fund, I was thinking, I'm going to get her fixed, get her trapped and get her fixed. And it was really just, I don't know, maybe 10 days ago that I spotted her. And yesterday I'm looking at her and
Mm-hmm.
she's pregnant. And she's probably about to pop.
Oh no.
So, yeah, she, of course, if you're a pregnant mama and you're looking for a safe place to go have babies, go to the witch's house.
They talk to each other. That's what happens. They talk to each other.
I know they do. I know, so again, more cats because, we're so horrible, wicked people.
That's what Jennifer said. Um, she said so many misconceptions of what witches are. So sad we're labeled evil to so many. But you know what's strange? If you don't know anything and you tell somebody I'm Wiccan, it's okay. But you use the word witch, it's a totally different thing. It's completely different.
So that's because remember when we talked about how witch and heretic got attached to each other in the
Mhm.
church? That I think is why.
Oh, that's absolutely why. That's absolutely why. So, I did tell y'all that I was bringing a visual, and we really didn't get to it, but, just because I brought it out. Do y'all have a book of shadows?
Mhm.
I do.
Well,
Not that big.
No, 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 no.
That is very important.
but see, Adrian, it's got the chakra stones on it.
It does.
So
And it's
yeah, I
like,
thought.
Very cool.
So I thought, oh yeah, I got to show that to Adrian. This would be a good opportunity, So again, we've got our colors to represent. And y'all, I have not wrote in this book near as much as I should. I mean, it really and truly probably only has maybe 20 pages that I've written in it. But I do have things like, let's see if I can pull it out here. Um, just weird little things that most people would not have, like in something like this. You'll find in mine. I have to open it. And I don't want to do that in here. So maybe next time. I need to do a show at home. Um, but then, you know, you got to have your travel size too, because you never know. This one actually, my daughter got me and my granddaughter, Savannah, my oldest granddaughter, got us these for Christmas, and I haven't even done anything with it. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this one. Y'all help. What would you do with this one?
Make it your Gilmore, make it your family stuff.
Well, I kind of thought that's what but
I
this
mean,
would.
difference between a Book of Shadows and a Gilmore.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, the like the recipes and yeah, the stuff that work, right? Because there's different theories. People have different
Yeah.
ideas. Because I had said that to a friend of mine one time. I was something about Book of Shadows, and he said, "Oh, you're writing in your grimoire." I said, "No, my Book of Shadows," because it for me or what I've researched. I'm not that knowledgeable, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I am. The grimoire is more of like the proven, the tried and true. You've done this, the tradition or whatever. I mean, is that right, Gail? Is that where you're at with it? Or?
I kind of got the feeling that the BOS is like, I want to say, like the historical spells and things like that, and the Gilmore is the Grimoire is more what you've done. And
That
so,
may, yeah,
like when I pass away, the most can go to whoever in my family has decided to follow the path, and they'll know what I've done, and then also what our
right, right.
I
Well, mine, yeah, my Book of Shadows is more of what I've done. Like it's that's exactly what it is. For example, I know we're about on our time limit here, but one time someone that's very near and dear to me was turned into DHR for a stupid reason, and they called me, in that moment. And I happened to have another witch friend that was there with me at that moment. Everything happens for a reason, right? And so we started grabbing stuff and throwing it, that everything. And that day, of course, in that moment while we were doing it, we wrote down everything we were doing, and now that's banishing DHR at the door spell, Um, and there have been things like that. A lot of times I haven't think, I need to go write this down, and I forget. So I do advise anyone, if you get one and you want to start, write it down in the moment. Stop what you're doing, go pick it up, get a pen, and write it down in the moment. Because if you don't, you never will. And that's my final advice of today.
I've recorded it on the phone before and then went back and wrote it.
That's a really good idea too. And I use music a lot, when I'm doing things, and I will try, to like somehow write in my playlist. I do that in my phone. I'll say what's playing so that I can go in and, if I'm working on something really important and it, comes to be faster than I wanted or harder than I, anything. I might want to know what was I listening to. What if I need to go back and redo that again? What music list was I, listening to? So just things like
Yep.
that people don't really think about. To write down. Every little detail is important. If it's important to you, I should say, like for me, sometimes, where the moon is sitting, where the sun is sitting, where's everything sitting in the universe, and possibly what time of day or night it is. You write down if it's important to you, if you're feeling it when you're doing it, write it down. Because 15 years, 100 years from now, somebody, one of your ancestors down the road, or is that the right word? That's not the right word. One of your offspring down the road
Uh,
um, could
These,
want to go back and reproduce exactly what you did.
yeah.
Descendants, yes, your descendants. The word would have left me. And I guess we will go to our last next week is we're going to talk about the people, not the actual book. We're going to talk about the people. And Gail, your book is on the way. Um, Funny story, Adrian. Have you ordered it yet?
I've ordered it, but it's certainly not here.
What do you know? Did you order it off Amazon?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not good because I ordered it for Gail today off of Amazon and it's coming from a library in Colorado Springs, it says.
No.
I might actually just go check our library today.
Um, I guess it could, it may not. I'd look online before you took a trip down
Oh
there.
no, yeah, all our libraries online.
Oh,
You
we'll
can
see.
click reserve and go pick it up.
We're not that fancy.
We
You know,
got, we're so,
probably the county, the big Shelby County Library, but
we
we're
can
not
access
that big.
like 14 libraries, order books online because of Lansing being so close.
Jennifer made a good point there. That's exactly what I do. She said when she got her first BOS, she wrote down dreams, had visits, and that she had visits from spirit, then moved on to things I've done. Yeah.
Right, yeah, and a lot of people do. A lot of people, do a lot of work in their sleep, or as they're going. I do that a lot, especially if you fucked with me. As I'm going to sleep, I'm probably sending you
Yeah.
something. Something,
We
you
should
know.
talk about dreams on one of these little bit.
Yeah, that's maybe we were talking about getting our calendar together for April, and yeah, we'll have to jump. Maybe we'll see. Next Friday we're doing the Death Trap people, and then we'll be off the next Friday, and then the next one is the 12th, right?
Yes.
Are we going to? Are we going to do that on the 12th? The rounding of the round table, actual work, the
I don't see why not.
hands-on actual work.
If it's what I think it is, I'm good.
I don't see why
Yeah,
not.
If I
the
don't do it by myself before then.
well, I'm thinking that would be a good time. So, are we gonna go? I'm gonna tell y'all when we did it with the opposing paranormal team, we'll call it, to keep their mouths shut. It was too expensive for a cow tongue. And I was like, I'm not spending $40.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're all so far away from each other, we'll have to come up with I mean, we ended up doing a cow cheat, which was about $10, which I think I think we'll have to come up with a better alter. Maybe if we make tongues with Play-Doh or something. So, I mean, it's all about intention, right?
Mm-hmm.
A poppet, so to speak.
Yeah.
A tongue poppet. See, y'all, that's the thing. It doesn't have to be in a book and it doesn't have to be followed to, you can improvise. And sometimes improvising, because especially in what we're talking about doing, y'all will have to stay tuned April 12th to find out what we were actually talking about doing. But we're going to improvise, we're going to do some things. And the laughter that you're going to find coming from that show is exactly what you need to get in and put the energy in your work that you want to do. Because Anger and laughter are very strong emotions. So even some people in this field may think that you have to go to a dark place to do something, dark. Let's say, and I'm not talking, we're talking about, eating and slaughtering babies. I'm talking about your ex-husband is a piece of crap. He don't pay child support. He's an alcoholic. He runs you down to everybody. And you just wanna.
Did you meet my two ex-husbands?
You just. Well, I was just trying to think where everybody could kind of get on board and go, oh yeah, that kind of person deserves that kind of stuff. So you just kind of want to maybe shut him up. You want him to go out of your life. What do? You're praying. You're praying. God, make him go away. We're doing the same thing. We're doing the same thing. We're just going to show you how you can bring different things. Doesn't have to come into a book or out of a book. Um, Maybe we'll all do something different that represents the same thing. And then show people, you know, you don't have to run out and buy this list of ingredients. You can get the cat litter out of your cat litter box. You can, and this should be interesting because anyone that tuned in and watched that episode of Unlocked and Uncensored with the opposing paranormal team, y'all, I was like, they had to mute me because my ingredients that I was using were so disgusting. I was about to puke. It was that gross. And I've got a gag reflex. I'm a sympathetic vomiter. I can even make my if I hear it, see it, or smell it,
Uh-huh.
and even hearing myself get sick, it will make me sicker, and it becomes this awful rabbit hole of now I'm crying because I'm making myself sicker, and it's just I can't get up. But yeah, that night it was I came so close to throwing up.
Jennifer's asking if that can be seen again.
I'm pretty sure it's. I mean, I know it's on Things somewhere. It's on Things Network. And Jennifer, we don't know what happened on Things. I mean, Adrian said you didn't say a thing in the chat, but she said, I wonder maybe does she have to subscribe to Things or I
Probably.
know I know sometimes, yes, Jennifer, it'll make you go in and do something so you can comment on StreamYard so people can see the chat. And then the thing on Spirit, I know that Adrian is an admin there. We might be able to get her to go in there too and see what's up with that. If you're blocked from there or whatever, we'll work on getting that page so you can see all of our platforms. I think I also do the show always on the Bloodstains and Broomsticks page. Again, y'all make sure y'all go like and follow our page, share our page, tell your friends about us. This is episode 5. We want to grow, obviously, because we want people to know we are not eating babies and throwing the car seats out the windows.
Hmm.
Not today.
We'll at least pick up the car seats.
Witches don't litter.
Right, we care about the earth. We're at least going to
Yeah.
put our stuff in the dumpster.
So we're not going to leave messy things all over.
No, just don't look in the cauldron. Never, never lift the lid. Now everybody, they drive. I don't know about up north, but like here, you see all these people that have got these big cast iron pots. It makes for pot pots and stuff like that. Go
Yeah,
put your
I
husband
don't.
in that cauldron. I need that.
Okay.
So, well, all right, everybody. I think we have definitely gone over our time here. We did get a little more than an hour. So, thank y'all for joining us. Remember, next week we're going to talk about 6 psycho twisted murders. So
Ah,
we're back to the blood stains. And these are some
all right.
serious blood stains. And I personally know some of the people involved. So y'all stay tuned next Friday, same bat channel, same bat time.
Y'all have a good day.